Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. We have a fun one prepared today. What we'll be doing is we'll be doing our quick picks for all of our Week 15 NFL matchups. We have the Thursday night game in the books. The Rams beat the 49ers, but we're going to quickly run through the rest of the games we have. We have every single NFL team playing this weekend. There's a lot of games. We're going to give our predictions. Who's going to win, who's going to lose, what the final score will be. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you have any comments, please drop them below, and I will respond. Every week we go over every single NFL game. We also do the same thing for every college football game as well. We do the money lines, the best bets, the over-unders, the spreads. Make sure to hit that like button. If you're a football fan, if you're a sports fan, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can follow along with us. This is different than my 30-minute videos. We're going to try to run through these games as quickly as possible. If you have time constraints, this is the video for you. We're going to cover them all. We're going to cover them quickly. So let's go ahead and get things started with our Sunday matchups, kicking things off Sunday at 1 p.m. on Fox, the 5-8 Dallas Cowboys versus the 3-10 Carolina Panthers. Right now, the Panthers come in here. They're actually going to be the favorites, 3-point favorites. The over-under is 43.5. Dallas, they don't have Dak. They have Cooper Rush. They're averaging 20.6 per game, throwing for 231, only running for 91, giving up 28.2 points a game. They have a very bad defense. Their strength used to be run game, offensive line, defense. All three of those things are their weaknesses right now, but Dabble's actually been running a little better the last few weeks. They still have CeeDee Lamb. He's a number one threat. Panthers have been playing a lot better. Bryce Young has been looking better since he's back as the starter. They're averaging 17.9. They are giving up 29.8. Statistically, they still have the worst defense, but they used to give up 34 points a game. They've worked that number down, but they have Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard is the X factor. Everyone knows he's going to run the ball, and yet still he's picking up his yardage. But we're going to go with Dallas. To me, they are still the better team right now. Cooper Rush is a serviceable backup. We have Dallas winning this one at 23-20. And then after all that, on Fox at 1 p.m., you have the 3-10 New York Jets versus the 3-10 Jacksonville Jaguars. Jags just coming off a win. Finally got that third win. This is a battle for the 4 wins. Right now, the Jets 3.5-point favorites. The over in here is 40.5, and the Jets have a 62.9% chance to win this game. Rodgers in the offense playing a lot better recently, but obviously they have a lot of issues. Coaching, player-wise, they're averaging 19.3 per game. They're only running for 87. They got to get those rush yards up so that they can open up some play action. They are giving up 23.1 points a game. They got to get Breece Hall going. They have Wilson, Lazard, Devontae Adams. They have a veteran wide receiver core, and for Jacksonville, obviously Trevor Lawrence probably not going to play again this year. They still have Mac Jones. He's not a good backup, but he's a backup with a lot of reps. They are averaging 18.3. They're giving up 26.5. Very, very bad defense, giving up 264 passing yards per game. They have to shore up that secondary. They got to get Brian Thomas Jr. going, but they are coming off of a win. Can they keep that momentum going? We have the Jets finally getting that fourth win in this one, 24-14. And then at 1 p.m. on Fox, we have the 8-5 Washington Commanders versus the 5-8 New Orleans Saints. Obviously, the big question here is Carr going to play? He did hurt his hand really bad this past weekend. Probably not playing, but they haven't ruled it out. Right now, the Commanders, 7.5-point favorites. The over in here is 42.5. Washington's offense has been rolling. They are fully rested. They're averaging 28.9 at the top 5 offense. They're giving up 22.8. They have Brian Thomas Jr., they have Terry, and for New Orleans, they have a pretty good roster, but they've been up and down the whole season, trying to get everyone playing at the same time. They're averaging 22.3, giving up 22.5. They're very Alvin Kamara-centric. Someone else has to step up on the offense to take some pressure off of Kamara. He's running the ball, catching the ball. They need their playmakers to step up, but Olave has also been banged up the entire season. This is one game that could potentially go either way, but with the questions to Carr, I have to go with Washington winning this one 28-13, a very convincing win. And then on Fox at 1 p.m., you have the 5-8 Cincinnati Bengals versus the 3-10 Tennessee Titans. Can they finally get that fourth win? Right now, the Bengals 5-point favorites. The over here is 46.5, and they have one of the best offenses in the nation, but they also have one of the worst defenses. Joe Burrow leads the NFL in passing, 33 touchdowns, 6 yards, leads in yardage. They're averaging 27.8, throwing for 271.6 yards, giving up 27.7. They give up as much as they score. They have to shore up that defense. They have Brown, Chase Higgins, very talented offensive roster. And for Tennessee, they need a clean game here from Will Levis. This game is going to turn into a shootout potentially. Tennessee has to be capable of going down the field and scoring. That's a tall task. They're only averaging 17.5, and they're giving up 26.3. Their issue with them is turnovers on their own side of the field. They need a clean game. They have Pollard. They have Ridley. We have the Bengals having way too many playmakers on their offense. They win this one 26-20. And then our next matchup at 1 p.m. on CBS, the 12-1 defending champs, the Chiefs versus the 3-10 Cleveland Browns. The Browns got to get things going here. Obviously, It's a very tall mountain for them to have to climb, but they want to have some momentum going into next season. Right now, the Chiefs are starting to get hot because this is a playoff team. As they get closer to the playoffs, it's when they actually start playing their best ball, and they're already 12-1. Right now, they come in here, they are 4.5-point favorites. The over-under is 43.5. Patrick Mahomes starting to get hot, and they're starting to get healthy. They're averaging 23.7, only giving up 19.4. They're only giving up 88 yards on the ground. That's where their defense gets after it. They stack that line. They get pressure on the quarterbacks. Can they get Jameis Winston to throw some picks? They have Hunt, Pacheco, Kelsey, Worthy. All the playmakers are starting to come back in. Cleveland, they're averaging 17.8. They are giving up 25.8. The roster is much better than that. They don't have a bad defense, but the defense is on the field the entire game. Jameis Winston here could have 3 touchdowns. He could have 3 picks. We'll have to see which version of him shows up. I have to go with the sure thing here. Kansas City wins 23-17. And then at 1 p.m. on CBS, we have the 6-7 Miami Dolphins versus the 8-5 Houston Texans. This is a fun under-the-radar game. Right now, Houston 3-point favorites. Over here is 46.5. Miami, since they've gotten Tua back, completely different offense. They have a top 5 offense with Tua on the field. They're averaging 20.3, throwing for 227, running for 105, giving up 22.5. They do have a top 5 pass rush defense, one of the best offensive rosters. Achin, Mostert, Hill, Waddle, Berrios, Beckham. There's playmakers everywhere, and they have Tua to distribute the ball. Houston, they have Stroud. Stroud in this offense needs to get going. They're down Diggs, but they have Nico Collins back. Do not underestimate that he's a top 5 wide receiver when he's fully healthy. They're averaging 23.7, giving up 22.2. Like I said, Mixon, Collins, that is a game changer, but Miami's got the playmakers to get into a shootout on the road, and it's not under 40 degrees, so they always have a chance here. I have Miami actually pulling the upset, winning this one 24-21. And then at 1 p.m. on CBS, this spread just keeps rising. We have the 8-5 Baltimore Ravens versus the 2-11 New York Giants, who probably have the worst offense in the NFL. Right now, Baltimore 16-point favorites. Over to here is 42.5. That spread keeps going up and up. That is a massive spread for an NFL game. Lamar Jackson is again putting up MVP caliber numbers. They have the number 3 offense in the NFL, around 29.5, throwing for 243, running for 179. That's a number 2 rush offense. They're giving up 24.5. Their weakness is their secondary. They give up 265 yards passing, but only 82 yards rushing. You can throw on them. You cannot run on them. They have Henry closing in on 1,500 yards. Flowers, Andrews, likely playmakers everywhere on the offensive side. For the Giants, they're down to their 3rd wide receiver. They're down the lock, only averaging 14.9, giving up 22.5. They have Neighbors, but they don't have anyone who can get him the ball. That's a massive issue. I have Baltimore winning this one handedly, 28-13. And then on Fox at 4:25 p.m., the 7-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the 8-5 Chargers. One of the best offenses versus one of the best defenses. Right now, the Chargers 3-point favorites. The over here is 45.5. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield, he's down Chris Godwin, but Evans is back. That is a massive upgrade for that young wide receiver core. Baker Mayfield continues to sling the ball. He has 29 touchdowns. They're averaging 27.9. That's a top 5 offense. They're throwing for 241 yards a game, running for 138, giving up 23.6. They still have Irving. They have Mike Evans to throw the ball to, come down with those contested catches. And for the Chargers, they have that defense, the number 1 defense in the NFL. Herbert, 14 touchdowns, only 1 pick. They're averaging 21.3, giving up 15.9. They've been banged up. They need a healthy J.K. Dobbins, McConkey, and they run the ball downhill. That's what Harbaugh does. You run, you play defense. But we still have Tampa Bay and that offense having just enough power to pull away this game. Win a close one here, 24-21. And at 4:25 p.m. on Fox, the 10-3 Steelers versus the 11-2 Eagles. Coming off of a really close win. Both of these teams are heading to the playoffs. This is a playoff caliber matchup. We have the Eagles 5.5-point favorites. Over here is 42.5, and the Eagles have a 60.5% chance to win this game. For the Steelers, this is a Tomlin team. They run the ball. They play defense. They're averaging 24.8. They're only giving up 18.3. Only 91 yards on the ground. Expect a steady dose of Najee Harris just running the ball downhill. Pickens has been banged up. And for the Eagles, you have one of the best teams in the NFL right now. One of the lowest turnover teams. They've really shored up the turnover problems they had from last season. They're averaging 26.3 points a game. Running for 191 yards a game. By far the number 1 rushing team, throwing for 181. They're only giving up 18 points a game. They have one of the best offenses, one of the best defenses, but they can control time of possession with that run game. They have Saquon Barkley closing in on 1,700 yards. He might hit 2,000 yards this season. They have A.J. Brown, Smith, so many weapons, but the Steelers have the defense to keep this game close. But I'm going to go with the Eagles edging it out 23-20. And on CBS at 4:25, the 3-10 New England Patriots versus the 6-7 Arizona Cardinals, who kind of flip-flop. What version of the Cardinals do we get in this game? Right now, Arizona's 6-point favorites. Over is 46.5. They have a 71.8% chance to win this game. The Patriots need playmakers on the offensive side. They have Drake May, but they need playmakers, people for him to get the ball to. They're averaging 17 points a game, giving up 23.6. And for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray, 2,900 yards, 15 touchdowns, 8 picks. He has 4 rushing touchdowns. He's always keeping his eye down the field. It's what he can do with his legs, extending plays, scrambling for first downs, but still hitting those targets on the run. If they can get the play action going, if their offense is fully healthy, they can win this game. They're averaging 21.8. They are giving up 22.2. Connor, McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., when they have their full offense on the field with Kyler Murray hot, they can compete with almost any team. But that's a big if. Like I said, they flip-flop, play good, play bad every single week. They're due for a good game here. I have the Cardinals winning this one 27-16. And then at 4:25 p.m. on CBS, the 6-7 Colts versus the 8-5 Denver Broncos. Obviously, the Colts, they want to get that run game going, and they have Anthony Richardson. He's not an accurate passer, but he can do things with his legs. But Denver, 4-point favorites. Over here is 43.5. And for Indianapolis, they're averaging 20.5 points a game. They are running for 119. They're giving up 22.9. They have to have a healthy Jonathan Taylor. They have Pierce. But the big thing is, Denver's going to bottle up Richardson, try to keep him in the pocket, trying to keep him from being able to get to the edge, scramble for those first downs. They want to force him into third and long situations, make him beat you with his arm. Denver has the defense to do that. Bo Nix having a great season, 2,900 yards, 17 touchdowns, 8 picks, averaging 23.5, only giving up 18 points a game, only giving up 95 rushing yards. Can they keep Richardson in the pocket? If they can, they're going to win this game. I have Denver accomplishing that at home, winning this one 27-20. In the game of the weekend, one of the best games of the year, actually, on CBS at 4:25, the 10-3 Buffalo Bills finally coming off of a loss, but still riding hot. Who wants to play them? Versus who is the best team in the NFL? The 12-1 Detroit Lions. Josh Allen putting up MVP numbers. They're averaging 30.5 points a game. That's a top 3 offense. They're only giving up 20.6. He has 3,100 yards, 23 passing touchdowns, 5 picks. He has 10 rushing touchdowns. MVP numbers. Cook, Shakir, Coleman, Cooper, they have the veteran playmakers that compete in this game, but Detroit's going to be really tough to beat. Goff's back to 2023 form, the number 1 offense. They're averaging 32.1. They're only giving up 18 points a game. The best offense, a top 5 defense, playmakers up and down the field. Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown. They can beat you so many different ways. They're at home, but this game's going to be a shootout. We'll go down to the fourth quarter, probably down to the final possession. We have Detroit edging it out, 34-31. A high-scoring, fun game to watch. In our final Sunday night game, third to last game at 8:20 p.m. on NBC, the 9-4 Green Bay Packers versus the 8-5 Seattle Seahawks. Green Bay is playing really good football right now. Seattle's running one of their hot streaks right now, but right now Green Bay is 2.5-point favorites on the road. The over here is 45.5. Jordan Love, 2,800 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks. They have to play a clean game here. Don't give the ball back to Seattle. They're averaging 26.8, one of the best offenses, giving up 21.1. Josh Jacobs closing in on 1,100 yards. Seattle needs a really clean game from Geno Smith. He usually throws as many touchdowns as he throws picks. He's got to make sure he keeps the turnovers down. You don't want to give the ball to this Packers offense. They will go right down the field, score on you. Right now, Seattle's a very pass-happy led team. They're averaging 23.2. They're giving up 21.8. But they've been banged up for a lot of the portion of this season. Kenneth Walker, Smith, DK Metcalf. They need everyone healthy, but the game's going to come down to Geno Smith having a clean football game, not having 2 to 3 picks this game. Still, Green Bay wins this one on the road, 28-20. And we actually have 2 Monday matchups. The very first one, 8 p.m. on ABC, the 4-9 Chicago Bears versus the 11-2 Vikings. 2 teams going in different directions. Since that massive Hail Mary loss, the Bears have just become a complete disaster. Right now, they are the underdogs. Minnesota 6.5-point favorite. The over here is 43.5. Caleb Williams, don't hold the ball too long. The offensive line has been playing better. You just have to find those playmakers. Give the ball to them. Get it out of your hands as quickly as possible. They're averaging 19.5. They do have a decent defense, giving up 21.4. They have Swift, Moore, Odunze, Allen. You got the weapons there. Just don't hold the ball too long. It's very simple. And for the Vikings, they are rolling right now. Sam Darnold having a great comeback season. They're averaging 26.1, only giving up 18.5, only giving up 87 yards on the ground. They have Jones Sr., they have Justin Jefferson, who might be the best wide receiver in the NFL. Minnesota continues to roll. They win at 28-17. And our final game, guys, I said it was quick picks on ESPN at 8:30 p.m. The 6-7 Atlanta Falcons. They need to get back to 500. Kirk Cousins, stop throwing picks, man. Play a clean game. You can beat the 2-11 Raiders. If you're having a rough time, you want to play the Raiders. They might be the worst team in the NFL. Right now, the Falcons 4-point favorites. The order here is 44.5. Cousins, 17 touchdowns, 15 picks. It's almost 50-50. Just give the ball to your playmakers. You have one of the best offensive rosters. They're averaging 21.4, giving up 25.6. The defense, you got to play better. But when you have that many turnovers, you constantly put your defense in a bad position. Bijan Robinson, Algiers, Mooney, London, Pitts, give the ball to all those playmakers on this team. Get the run game going so that opens up some play action. And for the Raiders, they just don't do anything well. They're shuffling through quarterbacks. O'Connell, Minshew, they're only averaging 18.2, giving up 27.8. One of the worst defenses in the nation, one of the worst offenses, one of the worst teams. They have Brock Bowers. He's a legitimate threat closing in on 1,000 yards, but there is nobody who can put the ball in his hands. We have the Falcons winning this one 27-18. So that's our quick picks for all of our Week 15 NFL matchups. We ran through them as quickly as we could. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any comments, please drop them below, and I will respond. Thank you.